agreeing, so join us. Okay. All right, do something a little bit different. I don't think I've connected this energy before, but I saw a person that says they're not a channeler, but technically they are channeling. This person gets manipulated a lot. So I figure I'll take something that they did under manipulation and make it good. So take what they ruined and manipulated and spin it around to something more meaningful and to show my face, which that person was not doing. So I'm kind of trolling a little bit there. So the Watchers would have connected them ages ago. A very, very long time ago. And I got the word the owl, which makes sense, or the bird watchers, but the owl makes a lot of sense. And about the owl, jeez, sorry, the owl. There's a weird energy around that. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it whatever? Is it all? Well, yeah, it's a little bit of everything. It's a all-seeing energy. I mean, that was a weird one anyway. It can freak its head and go around in a circle. I think it can. It's been a while since I looked at an owl, but and definitely unusual. Out of all the birds, probably the owl is the most, exotic. Or there's a lot of it's very unusual. So it makes sense for the owl frequency to come through. The elite use the owl energy a lot, but doesn't. I mean, they manipulate it, but there is a good side to it. So we connect to the nice side of it. Let's see if everything's running okay. So make sure everything is so far so good. I think we're okay. And also the timeline wars that we're going through like all the time. The alien wars. I mean, obviously some get pulled into that a great deal. Maybe focus too much on it. It's adventure. It's more exciting than this reality, that's for sure. But you can get lost there though. So why we bring it up here then? Well, I guess it's we're coming down to a change. Let's put it that way. Because normally I don't connect to things like that. The Watchers I don't normally connect to. Timeline Wars, haven't done one in a while. The Watchers have been like years. And we're in like a holographic world. So, however you want to look at it, it's an organic holographic world. Some people call it. If you come from a computer reality, you see it from a computer point of view, like the Matrix, or you come from a holographic route, which is it's this energy basically. It's this energy that became more physical here. But you can break that down into energy, and that's how to manipulate this reality. I think you can say this reality is created by a thought. There's a single thought that keeps this going. Not to say it's perfect; it's got its issues, obviously. Though you can say the creator of this world has a lot of controlling issues, or the creator that's manipulating this world has a lot of issues. However you want to look at it, or if this even is a creator at all, it's just some kind of psychotic. What was it that the one that created all this is the most psychotic of them all, which I don't doubt. I'm not going to go into details of what that is because some have a different perception of how this all came down. But the one that's running this is crazier than all of us put together. So you can say it's a conqueror. A conqueror is is running the show. So we're here to figure that out. If you have what it takes, or you can just get pulled into manipulation, which many do. But Yeah, well, you get there in time, I guess. Yeah, whatever. It's rough watching all this. Actually, gets kind of old. Actually. All right, this is Unretarded Comic for sessions scheduler. The shop here, the webinar, social network, behind the scenes, and the archive. Okay. All systems go. Yeah, the Watcher energy, I don't know. They're just they're not saying anything right now for obvious reasons. Yeah, the person I got this from is, I don't know if that person even has the soul that it says it is. Like, it's probably somebody else at this point. But whatever, people like it anyway. They turn themselves off and do whatever. Do whatever you gotta do. Timeline Wars is kind of interesting. The debt ceiling thing has not been resolved, so that's still going on. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, or today, whatever, Wednesday. They still haven't come up with a resolution to that yet. They might have said they did, but not really. Nothing's been signed into law. Interesting. So interesting. That might not happen. Things might, get pulled into chaos. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Midnight Eastern time, or before then. I don't know. You'll find out eventually. It starts affecting you. So if you can't get Social Security payments, or we'll see. Well, they said they resolved it Saturday, but this is Wednesday. So what's the deal? So anyway, all right. Here we go. So blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We have the Owl Collective. Yes, your reality, your people, are, yes, the human way of life. Your philosophies, that many of you think that into that, but the mindset here is, of course, not on a multidimensional spiritual direction. Many worlds in their beginning, or even thousands of years, millions of years, they continue the mindset of knowing about the outside universe, the spiritual connections. Of course, there's going to be religious overtones to shut that down, or just to say one alien race is stronger than the other, and so on. But it is time for your world is slowly breaking. Now we realize the belief system is not multidimensional at all. Well, there's some of you, and some are getting confused, and it's connecting to you're still, well, it's all development. It's like you're opening up your third eye, worldwide. And it's a hard opening. It's not something that you're used to. So, of course, the majority of your world doesn't know what you're even talking about, or even care for that matter. But eventually it become at least the ideas of the outer, universe of how it works. And you're kind of watchers of each other to a certain level. We do see like the end of television eventually, not yet. Of course, it'll be on the internet, but it'll be the television as is now is more hypnotic. The internet has power, but it's not as powerful as the television. There is power within the internet, yes, but basically the mind control is still not. It's different. Yes, it's not as strong as it used to be. Well, many are thinking outside, such as the gender question. Some are taking it to a whole new level. They're remembering themselves from other realities. such as a male is remembering themselves as a female in another world. They can be this world, but a lot of times it's other worlds. And they think that it's okay to switch that here, but it really doesn't work. That's how you learn. Yes, when you start seeing people walk around in bird costumes, things have really gotten weird. They start remembering, yes, fish people and so on. You haven't got to that level yet. Well, if many want to really change their appearance to an animal, which I don't believe that's become a trend, which is good, because many will fall for that. So one thing is tattoos. That's harmless compared to everything else that's out there. That can also be painted over and things like that. But eventually more people will be connecting to their animal sides. That'll be a very strange timeline. It is strange now, of course. As for the Watchers themselves, there's different alien races that are doing, keeping an eye on their planet, of course. Not that we have all the answers. Nobody does. Maybe just to see what happens here, to see what is progress and what we can learn from you. Yes, how we can not make the same mistakes, or maybe because there are, even if we are a non-physical race, and there's many, and some of them are fourth dimensional, that have some kind of physicality, but nothing like yours. But even within our alien civilizations, many are having trouble like what your world's going through, but at a smaller scale. It's like we look at your world and figure out what's going on with certain citizens on our planet. Not that we can cure it or fix it, or even if there's a problem at all. Identify what they're getting their energies from, because there are alien worlds where they want to be more like a human. Of course, there's alien worlds where they don't want to be human at all. But you have animal worlds that take in some of your human characteristics. But you as humans are going through the gender awakening, but that will shift eventually. It will get more AI, at least for some. Right, the panic energy will eventually heal, and then others will become more connected to it, which will probably be more frightening than what's going on right now. The gender situation will eventually die out. Not yet. It's still kind of in its infancy. But eventually other, humans will get tired of it, and yes, it'll be gender fluid, gender whatever they want to call themselves. And that'll become more it won't be a big deal as it is right now. But many become a little bit more careful of their gender's transformation. But some need to go through the dark ages of it. That's what's happening now. And of course, your children, or some of your children are going through it because they can remember other lifetimes or other genders. So that makes it very confusing. This world, you can say, yes, common sense on this planet was deactivated a long time ago. And that's why you're trying to remember yourselves. You can say all of these wars, everything's about remembering yourself. All the wars out the history, and the war is throughout the past is aggravation towards each other, reptilian energies against feline energies, and so on, insectoid energies, and it's just through the human experience. So you are going into a bit of a renaissance of knowing the soul, but it has not quite advanced itself yet. The soul has not been fully recognized here, which it will eventually. And when that happens, your world will never be the same, because now the soul is being recognized, because right now it's pretty much ignored. Even now, of course, spiritual groups are becoming more aware of it, but they're still trying to figure it out. Once you understand the soul, there'll be less manipulations eventually. But sometimes you have to go through what you have to go through. So blessings. Brings you the energies of your timeline. So if a timeline war is brought up, that means there's changes on their way. Doesn't mean they're great changes, but a change that will affect your entire planet. It's one after the other. It doesn't mean it's going to be negative, but it needs to mean, well, there's going to have that, but it's also going to be like a wake up call for your world. So yeah, it's like almost like a earthquake for the planet itself, maybe a culture earthquake, what you're preparing to go into. And the world's going to feel its hurts. I mean, it's going to have to get out of its comfort zone and change. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing, but some of you are obviously dying for change. Is it galactic? And there is some galactic energy there, but timeline beings don't look at galactic people, or they see you all as the same. So you might come from another planet, but they don't see it that way. They see you as a part of this, creative process, this experience. A timeline just, if you're going to be it's like a train. You're just a passenger, and the timeline is going to go where it's going to go. You can choose to get off. Obviously, some of you choose to get off, and you see the train keeps going, so you can't get off yet. It's going too fast. Some of you trying to get off, and it doesn't work out so well, and so on. But yes, we're talking in a cryptic formation right now. We're not here to answer all of your questions about anything, really, because timelines are there to deliver, not always what's best for your society, but what's necessary. It's what your creative consciousness is ready for. Like some of you want an alien connection or an invasion, anything, but most of your society says no, and it cries out for trying to know itself better first. It still knows only a fraction of what it is. And that's why you're piecing all this together through television shows, fiction. Just it's helping the soul remember itself. Obviously, so what you're here to do is heal amnesia through your incarnation. So it's a deep ride there. So some of you are opening up your amnesia and keeping your sanity. Others are going more insane, actually. Some of them are creating realities. You can actually create realities that weren't there before, only because you find them. So they can become real. Well, we're kind of being cryptic about that. But overall, yes, there's going to be a chain of events where this world will never be the same again. It's not going to happen instantly, but it's on its way. But it's more for the betterment of humanity. It's not a world war. It's not a financial war, as many feel. Some just want to get that one over with, but not yet. Well, because if you have a financial clarity, yeah, just basically all your problems can go away. Your world's not ready for problems to go away yet. It's still trying to figure itself out. Like I say, you're still trying to heal your amnesia. And some of you are here to give a jolt to the timeline where others start to figure out who they are. Yes, when to get off this timeline to a better timeline. It's basically many of you incarnated here to end all wars and just do it by your own vibration. But to do that is through your knowledge. So wars will end when you can come together, you could say, where like your Ukraine situation, where a lot of the darkness there is exposed. And it's somewhat happening, it's not fully happened. If the darkness there would become exposed, maybe the war would even stop because the world will take notice about it. Right now, it's ignoring it. It's like ignores darkness, as some of you realize. And obviously, not all of you are here to save the world, not at all. But darkness will eventually show itself there eventually, or maybe not at all. That one's not meant to be healed anytime soon. Yeah, that's like hundreds and hundreds of years of pain there. That's something that you don't heal overnight. So, blessings. greetings. We are your holographic reality or realities. Well, basically, learning about the soul signature of where you come from. And yes, you're on a certain timeline for certain. So it's like, yes, you're part of a school class um, that you of like your schedule for what you're here to learn. And some of you are kind of in a waiting period. Um, and you are in a classroom yourself. Everything has its own, there's always something to learn here. Maybe you're just here to understand the weather. Well, the weather of humanity's energy. Humanity gives off of a vibe all the time. So you're kind of like reading the tea leaves of society. And you can change your timeline to a certain level, but sometimes you just can't get out of certain grade levels as you'd like to. Yes, basically, it's kind of like you're in fifth grade, seventh grade, 10th grade, whatever you want to call it. The college years are not always what they're cracked up to be. For college, yeah, some of you are in the college levels and just feel like, is this it? I'm not getting the full picture yet because you're not done yet, apparently. But as for the holographic realm, some of you have created holographic realities yourselves and might even remember that. And there's fragments of that here, meaning like on another world, you might have created something similar to like Italy or France, or it might be a whole lot more vivid, more exciting, but there's fragments of it here. So, or you just lived in places like that, like you live in a planet that looked like a French world, but it was just a lot more detailed, a lot more alive, less negativity, and so on. It's just, but that shows that French people from another world came here, Canadian people, and so on. It just, it kind of showed your galactic connections, you can say. To a certain level, the United States is a little bit of everything. It's where the war is going on, the culture war. and that has to do with, almost has like a World War III energy, but through the mind. It's like a mental World War III. Maybe not everyone's involved with it, but some of you are. Yeah, even with war, not everybody signs up for it. It's like you might feel the effects of it, but you're not on the grounds. Like you're not getting shot at and things like that. Some of you might feel like you're dodging bullets, probably because you are, at least on an energy level. So there's a whole nother battlefront going on. The idea is for the U.S. to calm itself down. It's like a wild horse out of control. The idea is to, yes, not have all these secret agencies and to a lot of the secrets. Like Rome had a lot of its, well, of course, it moved to the Vatican timeline. But still, some secrets became were there. But the U.S., it eventually will calm itself down, and eventually what's hiding will start to surface. When there's nothing to hide anymore, the war is over on your planet. That's when you go more galactic. It's like you're ending the war here on your world so you can go out multidimensional. Even, yes, the Agarthian reality. The Agarthian beings don't need humans there. Well, some they welcome, most they don't, because it just brings their trouble there. Like, hey, welcome, human. Thank you for making things chaotic here. And some humans have been brought there to do just that. Well, they're just used to that energy. So, I mean, you bring some, yeah, you abduct someone from this world that's nice and someone that's chaotic. And there's a little bit of a war going on there. So, some of you might be able to remember some of that. But overall, your holographic reality, yeah, it's another way of getting to know where you came from. Well, at least what you signed up for, like the country that you live in. There's different alien realms that have pieces of this, world, and you kind of incarnate. Like U.S. is on another planet, like fragments of it, and it tells you a lot of planets that have pieces of it. And for whatever reason, like you just go to boot camp, you understand how this world works, and you incarnate here, and it's heavy. The place you came from is most likely very light. You come here, it's like, wow, this is where the storm is. And here to cool it down. Blessings.